We got guests here. We got Castiel. We got him here. I'm very distracted. You're distracting. Go to sleep. Finally, we are on the Triwizard tattoo series. So, let's dive right in. Is my braid like kinky? Oh, so I want to start with Viktor. I actually ended up consulting one of my best friends, Gabby. Gabby is Bulgarian, and I was like, that's amazing because Viktor is Bulgarian, as most of you may know. And she was able to provide so much insight and culture and a whole new perspective that I would have never been able to do on my own. And I had her explain the Bulgarian tattoos, and so I'm gonna play that and you guys can kind of get that from her.
Hello there, Sophia fans. I am here as her token Bulgarian friend who helped her with the Viktor Krum Harry Potter tattoo series to help with some explanations here. First, we can start off with on his right forearm, there's the Bulgarian flag. On his right collarbone, it says Dad, which is grandfather. There was a whole thing where his grandfather was killed by Grunwald and all of that, and that's why he's memorializing, of course, in Bulgarian. So on his right abdomen, right here, of course, there's a rose, where Bulgaria is one of the biggest exporters of rose essential oil and anything rose related. So this is a huge part of the culture itself. Then there's the lion on his left shoulder, which is the national animal of Bulgaria, where actually the Bulgarian currency, the lev, comes from the word for lion, luf, which is also interesting to have that, the attachment between cultural and economic that there is in Bulgaria, and he's representing that in the tattoos on his body too.
And Gabby and I talked a lot about how everybody thought that that lion was for Hermione. Well, it makes sense for people to attach to that because that's one of the only things there is to Viktor, especially in the movie. But if you actually look at the grand scheme of things and his personality in the books, there's so much more to his character that doesn't really make any sense.
And then you have 3 quotes in Bulgarian. The first one, which is right here next to the rose, Dela tarvata ne dumi, it means actions are needed rather than words. Then on the other side, ако спечеля, печеля за цял народ, ако загубя, губя само мене си, which is like, if I win for an entire people, but if I lose for me. So it's more like winning is for everybody, but a loss only goes towards yourself, and like you only disappoint yourself. And then the one on his right arm says "Трябва да се жертва всичко, па и себе си дори," which means you have to sacrifice absolutely everything, even yourself, in order to achieve your goals. Where all 3 quotes are quotes by Vasil Levski, who's a huge revolutionary in Bulgaria that helped free Bulgaria from the Ottoman rule because they were enslaved for 500 years. And so these quotes are extremely important to Bulgarian history and culture.
Because I think that defines a lot of Viktor's personality, which is that he's really strong, he's an athlete, he's really brave, he's expected by all of Durmstrang to kind of enter the Triwizard tournament. But then he has these like really soft romantic feelings for Hermione, and I think that we did a really good job together in the quotes that we chose, the symbols that we chose, in kind of representing the strong side of him and the kind of guarded, softer side of him.
Yeah, I think it's a very much a cultural thing, which I know we talked about in terms of the tattoo related to the Triwizard championship, right? Like talking about whether he should put Cedric's name or something, and just how even just putting the little piece of paper, like that's a lot. That's a lot of emotion to show on your body. And so it's really nice like to have something like this, like you who are so popular, especially with your Harry Potter series, to demonstrate such a deep cultural aspect and really show Bulgarian culture and show more of an appreciation. Because now like all over the internet or like movies or shows, you see Bulgaria, but it's all lies, it's made up. It's just
wrong,
like, what's an interesting country that we can use that nobody knows about. So this is nice to have like an actual representation and this explanation, right, so that people can really understand what it means. I think it's really important just how seriously you took all of this and like how really in depth you wanted to get into the culture to make sure everything was correct. Like I think that's the most important part of all of this, how much research you put into it.
Thank you. Thank you for all of your help with all of it, and thank you for taking the time to explain everything.
Of course, thank you. Love you too.
So yeah, there was a lot I had to cut out because we got off track a lot. So then there's a couple things that are like the more obvious Harry Potter related things. The Durmstrang ship, the shark. Then there's a lot of like Quidditch stuff on him because like he's a professional Quidditch player. I just thought that made sense. So there's that cool Quidditch shape on his chest, snitch. There's Bulgaria Quidditch, like a logo for his team down on his hip, the crest for Durmstrang and up on his chest, and then there's Durmstrang in like that really cheesy tattoo cursive up here. It seemed like a real Viktor thing. And then Krum 7, a lot of people were like Krum would totally get his own name, and he would, but that's also from his jersey, like the Krum and then his number up here. The QW and then the hoops, that's like it's like the equivalent of like the Olympic hoops basically for the Quidditch World Cup, and it has that little symbol there. And then he has the slip that he put into the Goblet of Fire, which Gabby and I talked about the little bit of sentimentality from Viktor. And then that shape on his forearm, I know it's a little bit hard to tell what it is, but it's a heart with like red and yellow strings going through it, and that is meant to be dragon heartstring. It's kind of a loose representation of it, but it's dragon heartstring because that's his wand core. And then I saw pictures of the actor now. It's like shockingly close to what I did. I was like, oh. And then the actor liked this post on Instagram, and I was like, oh. So that was like killer. Fleur. So she has kind of like a simplistic fleur-de-lis up on her neck. So she has something for each challenge. So she has the dragon wings, and then she has bubbles for the second challenge, and then she has the maze for the third challenge. So she has one for each. She has the slip that she put in the Goblet of Fire, and then the names of all the competitors with Cedric's in white. And to me, I think Fleur was like heartbroken when Cedric died, and she invited all the Harry and Viktor to her wedding. Like, to me, Fleur just seems by far the most sentimental. It seemed like something she would do to me. And then she has her wedding ring and Bill's name down her spine. And I think it's made very clear to us in the books, how devoted Fleur is to Bill. So to me, it's like a tattoo for Bill. It's like, yeah, Fleur would do that. Bill would get one for her, for sure. She has the crest for her school. She has, in like a minimalist way, the tiara that Molly gave her. It's like a family heirloom for her wedding, and it was kind of symbolic of Molly saying, you're part of the family now. She has kind of the outline of her wand on her hand, which I thought looked really cool. And then flowers are just, she's Fleur. She has flowers. Yeah, and they look great. And then she's got Gabrielle, has to, on her thigh, and the shell for Shell Cottage. Those moles, like, to me, that's such a French, like, she has to. Like, she has to have, like, those big, sexy moles. Makes sense for me. I looked up quotes about friendship and family because to me that's a really crucial part of Fleur's character, and I tried to pick kind of the ones that really stood out to me. So the one down her arm next to the bubbles means unity is strength. The long one on her back is our family is a circle of strength and love. With every birth and every union, the circle grows. In every crisis we face, it strengthens. And then the one above the maze, I thought was real. I read it and I was like, what? It's do not think that one enemy is insignificant or that 1,000 friends are too many. I think that that's just, everything that Fleur says to Harry about like, you're my friend now that you've saved my sister, and friendship means so much to me. And then once he's her friend, he's a friend for life. And then one enemy, I think, speaking to Voldemort. Yeah, I was really happy with the way it turned out. Cedric. You guys, okay, can I just say, I was traumatized at the idea of drawing Robert Pattinson's face. When people asked me to do Cedric, I was like, he is Robert Pattinson. Like, I don't see Cedric any other way. So I was like, ugh. Cedric is Hufflepuff bride. That's it. Everyone says about Cedric throughout the entire series that he's a real Hufflepuff. So I gave him the badger, which I think turned out real cute. I gave him kind of the words that I think he tries to to kind of bring into his daily life. Ottery St. Catchpole's where he was born, but that's like on the wiki. I thought bands around his arm in like yellow and black would be like super sexy. I was like, yeah. The swan, I thought would be kind of a funny Twilight thing, A, but B, it's for Cho. It's Cho's Patronus. I'm kind of against doing tattoos for anybody that are like the high school relationships. I think I feel differently about Cedric though, because I had to do tattoos for Cedric before he died and like what was meaningful to him at that point in his life, because it stops for him there. That's all there is written in his story. Cho is a really massive part of his story. They were in love and he's a really big part of her story because she isn't even able to be with Harry after that because she really was in love with him. Amos, up on his collarbone, because of course he has to get his dad's name. The flowers are not forget-me-nots. They're Speedwell, which represents sacrifice. The Triwizard tournament is something he's very passionate about, and it's the journey of sacrifice and courage and loyalty that eventually leads to his death. I wanted to show the journey of putting his name in through the challenges and eventually leading to his death, the Avada Kedavra on his hand. If you guys notice, I didn't do Harry, and that's because I'm actually gonna do a video next, which is the updated Golden Trio. And I also hope you stick around for Percy Jackson, which after I do the Golden Trio will be the next YouTube videos that I will be posting. I'm thrilled to talk about those and I can't wait. Yeah, I'll see you guys. Thanks for coming. I don't know what that was. Bye.